Hello, folks. This is Molly Hillig Rodriguez, Chicago's relationship coach, and I bring meaningful dating and relationship topics to you. We are still in the month of November, and this whole month, you know that I have been talking about what I feel is the most important relationship, that with ourselves and our health and well being. So each week, I've brought an expert around health to you, and this week, I'm really excited that we get to speak with Rosemary Morris from Wellness Runs Deep. And in her organization, she has a product partner with USANA Health Sciences that has amazing third-party research and that really is cultivating a new awareness around health and well-being in the world. So we're just so lucky to be able to tap into her knowledge today as we talk about sugar and why we have those sugar cravings and why our body craves sugar and feels like it needs it in its many different forms, such as Cheetos, soda pop, alcohol, and just really what that does in our body. And Rosemary is an expert in this topic because she has been partnered with USANA Health Sciences for 7 years. Am I correct? 7 years. And she has been working with some of the coolest practitioners in the world that are really on point to understanding what sugar does to our body, not only our body, but inside of our brains and how it affects our emotionality. So let's tap into some of the simple knowledge that Rosemary has around sugar and how we can start busting or making mindful shifts around the sugar cravings in our life. So again, thank you for being here today, Rosie. I have my first question for you that I would like you to share with our readers so why are people so drawn to sugar? What is it?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Molly, for having me here with you. I just love to work with you, and I'm happy to share with some of your readers out there. I think the number one reason we use sugar is because it works, It's effective. And when I say effective, it does something in our body, just like any food that we put in our body, we have a chemical reaction. So I kind of think of it as food can be medicine and healing in our body, or food can be kind of a drug in our body that doesn't do us much good. So because it's causing certain chemical reactions. So the question is, why do we do it? We do it because it works, because we're tired and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we didn't rest well and we haven't been hydrating properly and we're stressed. And boy, oh boy, that candy bar or that sugary snack, that sure does sound good. Even, that potato chips and can of Coke or whatever it is. And when we put that into our body, it works, at least for a while. Unfortunately, and we're going to talk a little bit later about how it drives your blood sugar up in this very unnatural way, that what comes up must come down, and we often have a crash. And the crash is really the problem in the short term, and in the long term, it's the problem because think about your blood sugar going up and down and up and down and up and down over a long period of time. That stresses our body a great deal, and it causes this thing called insulin resistance. So it can actually cause disease in our body. So, I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, but we use it because it works. We use it because the food industry is really, really hell-bent on getting us to use their foods. They market to children at a very early age with the sugary cereals and things like that, to adolescents and teens with their sugary kind of caffeinated drinks and Coca-Cola. I should just say sodas. And those processed foods, which also make our blood sugars go up. So we do it because it works. We do it because it's everywhere, and the food industry is really wanting us to buy their products, so they push it, and that sort of thing works. And the other reason I think we do it is because life can be really hard. And there's a book that I love by a woman named Linda Spangle called Life is Hard, Food is Easy. In our culture, food is everywhere. Fast food. We don't have a problem with people being underfed for the most part,
Right.
but we do have a problem with people being undernourished in our country because some of the foods that we are eating, the fast foods and the highly processed foods, are not nourishing to our bodies.
Yes, yes, you are talking. I mean, I'm relating on a personal level. I can say wholeheartedly, I am a recovering emotional eater, and for me, when I have a really hard day, and when I say hard day, like even just a hard moment, like a hard business meeting, when I leave that meeting, I'm like, oh, I feel this, and oh, it's yucky, and what is going to happen? And then I noticed myself a couple of hours later, it's like, I got to have my mocha frappa lappuccino from the local coffee shop to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can actually trace that all the way back to my roots of origin. Like, it was like, sit down, be quiet, eat your meal. It doesn't matter what you're feeding. Like, my family, wonderful as they are, we used food as a way to, damper emotions or feelings. And not only that, I lived in an agriculture-based society where it was like, you worked really hard, you came in, you were starving, you probably were struggling through some of the experiences of work, and then you ate and you went back out and worked again. So if I really look back at my family of origin, food was a huge part of why I'm so drawn to sugar. It's like, my emotions know it, my body knows it, and my brain goes, oh yeah, that is going to be the fix for the moment. So what Rosemary was also defining for us were just some of the simple sugars that are in foods out there. Give us some of the food products that our readers may be a little surprised to learn that they add sugar to them. Is there anything that comes up off the top of your head?
Well, most bottled dressings, like salad dressing. So you think you're eating this wonderful salad and then you're putting extra sugar into your meal that doesn't need to be there. So any kind of, just look at the label. If you're buying something that's pre-made, look at the label. Usually anything pre-made, anything pre-packaged is going to have high in sodium, high in sugar. They're preservatives. They're ways for people to come back and get more because they're tasty. And like I said, maybe I didn't talk about it. You have a chemical reaction in your brain with a really strong hit of sugar. When they look at that on an MRI, it looks very similar to cocaine use. So I'm not talking about, this little thing that's kind of a problem. It's really powerful. And I think that we get into this mode of beating ourselves up over, I just keep going back to the chips. We all have our trigger foods, right? We all have our foods, whether it's, like you said, your sugary drink at Starbucks or coffee shop, or packaged foods. Usually it comes in a crinkly bag. There was this gentleman who trained me at one point, and he would hold up the bag and crinkle it and say, "Beware of the crinkly bag."
It's almost like a gift, it's like a Christmas gift, like, ooh, you get to open this shiny package.
Right. But think about, okay, say it's a potato chip. That thing that once grew in the ground think of all the things that it has had done to it to become a potato chip and be in that crinkly bag. That's what a highly processed food is. It doesn't look anything like what it started out being. It started out being a potato, and now it looks like this thing. Or, think about an even more processed food, like the ones that come in the can, and how they're perfectly formed. So that's probably even more processed because those are minced or something and formed and then fried, and then probably all sorts of chemicals are added to them. So just, that's what I like to think about. I like to think about, does my food look anything like it did when it grew from the ground? And, what kind of color does it have? And then taking that shift from being, really hooked on a sugary food or a highly processed food, and getting excited about eating foods that look beautiful and fresh and as they were given to us, in nature.
Yes, yes. Rosemary is touching on mindfulness. Like, what is it that you're really attracted to when you're not like just craving something or going to the cupboards or going to the convenience store to just like get a fix.
Mm-hmm.
What are things, foods that really draw to you? Like, are they purple? Are they orange? Is it change every day? What is really touching like that somatic nervous system, our third brain in our body, our gut system that's saying, I'm really nourishing something whole for my body. So with a little mindfulness, when we're not mindful is usually when sugar is in our brain or in our body and it's causing some sort of reaction. Could you just give a little, like a nutshell overview of what it looks like when sugar and goes from our fingertip into our mouth and into our bloodstream? What happens?
Okay. So I wanted to just introduce the notion of a high glycemic food versus a low glycemic food. And I actually went and got the definition just so everybody has a very cursory understanding of what I'm talking about. So a high glycemic food spikes up your blood sugar quickly. Now there's lots of other factors that go into it. So for instance, if you drink a 4-ounce glass of orange juice, there's the same amount of sugar and probably a couple of oranges in that, which is pretty high because fruits can have high sugar in it, but they're natural sugars. So they come with, if you eat the orange, then you're eating all the phytochemicals, all the pulp, all the fibery things that come with it, and that will slow down the sugar being incorporated into your body. So say you eat a candy bar, something really sugary. Our bodies like to stay in this homeostasis. They like to keep our blood sugar kind of in this even keel. Our bodies just like that. And what happens is, say you're kind of hungry. So you're a little below where you should be because your blood sugar's low because you're hungry. And then you eat this highly sugary processed food and your blood sugar goes way too high. It doesn't go in here like as if you ate a salad or something, but it goes too high. And then what happens is your body sends insulin in to take care of the high blood sugar. It doesn't want it to be that high. It wants it to keep that stable homeostasis. So the insulin comes in. Sometimes it might drop your sugar below where it was because there's this spiking and dropping and spiking and dropping. Then cortisol also comes in, which is another hormone, and that will that's also what comes in when we're under stress. So our body is under stress essentially when we're eating poorly. And then the thing about cortisol is it's a fat storage hormone, and it likes to lay down fat in the midsection. So it's preparing us, because it's a stress hormone, it's preparing us for fight or flight. But we ate a candy bar, like we don't have to run away from a saber-toothed tiger or something. So it'll store that energy. And that's when people keep repeating that pattern, they get that metabolic syndrome where they lay down fat in the midsection, their blood sugar usually goes up, their cholesterol usually goes up, triglycerides go up, and then over the long course of time, then illness can be established in your body.
Yes, and some of the illnesses we kind of all hear about in the news today are diabetes type 2. Lots of people are struggling with diabetes type 2. There's now even diabetes type 3 out there. Obesity, stroke, high blood pressure, kidney disease, diverticulitis. These are all things that people are hearing about. But some of the symptoms that we may not even know are being caused by sugar are headaches, trouble to sleep at night, feeling like completely groggy in the afternoon, ringing in your ears. Any other things that are coming to mind for you, Rosie?
I think of depression and sleep disorders. So it's our bodies are whole, and something that's upset in one area will affect other areas of your life. So I think you named a lot that are already there. We call these lifestyle illnesses. So you're not having a healthy lifestyle, then certain types of chronic degenerative diseases can pop up over time. But the
Mhm.
good news is that with changes, lifestyle changes, you can also heal your body.
Yes, yes. And something that my readers don't know is that I'm actually working really closely with Rosie and her product partner, USANA, because I am actually now postpartum, 9 months postpartum. I'm struggling with some insulin resistance. Uh, when people look at me, they're like, there's no way, you're slender, you're toned, but I'm struggling with some insulin resistance because when I was pregnant, I was craving certain foods, I was feeling additional stressors in my life, to think about the finances, the vision of my family. And I was slipping back into my emotional eating ways. So now I'm struggling with some of the results of that. So I'm working closely with Rosie and her product partner, USANA, to be on high nutrition supplements, high quality nutrition that have third party research. That third party research is so important to me. Third party research to bring my antioxidant levels back up and to just increase the baseline of vitamin and minerals that I have in my body so that I can combat some of these effects of sugar. The last thing that I would like to ask you is, someone who is maybe they're trying to get on the like cutting out sugar train, or this is the very first time that they're thinking about what sugar may be doing in their lives, and or they're wanting to start somewhere. Where would you recommend one of our readers, what recommendations would you give them about starting to make some of those small mindful shifts in their lives?
Well, I think the first thing that I want to say is just really be gentle with yourself, because I think, I know I can just speak for myself. I can be really hard on myself sometimes if I don't get it right or I don't think I'm getting it right. And that is just creating more stress and more problems. Beating yourself up is not a good motivator. So the first thing is just be kind to yourself. Understand that you're doing what you're doing with your diet for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get to that root cause. Like Molly was just talking about some of the reasons that she discovered that she slipped back into some of her old emotional eating habits. So give yourself some time to think about those things and discover what they are. Just be so kind to yourself. And then think about a way to understand what you're actually doing in your day-to-day eating. So food journaling is a really tried and true method for understanding really what's going in my mouth. And so typically if somebody has eating, feels like they're overeating in an emotional way, what I would recommend is you write down what food you ate, maybe what time you ate that food, and then how you were feeling. And you don't have to go into a dissertation. You can even use a smiley face or a frowny face or a mad face. Just keep it really simple. And there's so many apps that are on the phones and different things that you can use now. Spark People is one of them that comes to mind. Lose It is one that I use as well. Free apps that you could just journal there, write it on a pad of paper, whatever. So that's one way of becoming aware. And then you can develop an understanding of patterns. Like, oh gosh, every day at 3:45, I'm looking for sugar, or I'm looking for that bag of chips or whatever it is that is driving you. Or wow, I do great until 4 p.m, and then everything goes, everything hits the fan after that. Whatever. Or when I go visit this person, or when this person at work does this or that. So you might start to develop understandings of what is causing those changes or those patterns to persist. Mm-hmm. And then I always say, once you've got a little bit of a baseline understanding of your own behavior, then, think about doing a cleanse. Think about doing something where you eat in a very specific way for a very specific amount of time. And Molly and several of her friends and people that I work with joined a cleanse where we went for 5 days. We had our high quality pharmaceutical grade supplements, and then we had meal replacements a couple of times a day. And then we had group support to talk about what do I eat for that meal. Yes. And then we had a Facebook group to share recipes, talk about our, what's been difficult, what's working. And just what I'm saying is build a community around it, because try not to do it on your own. Try to do it with the support of other people, because then you have, it's just like you're lifted up in such a beautiful way.
Yes.
So I would say, just to go over it again, become aware what you're currently doing. If you have any patterns in your behavior, learn from that. Consider doing some type of cleanse, and have a community supporting you. And the first thing, of course, be kind to yourself. That was like the first and foremost.
Yes, especially this time of year where we're feeling added time constraints and stressors. Having just a kindness hug to yourself every single day. And Rosie and I are here to support you. Yes, do not start on this journey by yourself. No great explorer ever went on a journey by themselves. They always had a team supporting them. And Rosie and I are here to support you. Let me show you, I would like to share with you Rosemary's lovely website at Wellness Runs Deep. And she, right here, talks about her 5-way detox program, her Clear the Way, and a lot of other great tidbits that Rosie is offering. She has some workshops on here, her blog, her news and events. So her website alone is a really great resource to just gain some tidbits and knowledge. And then Rosie and I are here for you. You know how to reach out to me. Her contact information is listed below. Reach out to us if you want to have a conversation about anything that we discussed today. And I know in the new year, we're going to be together leading another 5-week or another 5-day detox program with the product partner USANA. So if you have any additional questions for us, let us know. Rosie, thank you so much for your information and knowledge around sugar and sugar cravings and simple ways that we can start to implement mindful change in our lives. Again, I'm Molly Hillig Rodriguez, Chicago's relationship coach, bringing meaningful and dating relationship topics to you. We will be back shortly with another health topic. Have a great day.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.